Hey everyone, TCE and HTF fan is back. And it's 2025 now. That's cool. Today we're gonna go through a bit of the Thomas and Friends production Bible from March 2003. So this was made around the time season 7 was about still in production, or maybe around the time season 8 was still being planned. When season 8 was still being planned, so this actually gives us the answer for why the Thomas and Friends characters and locations are inconsistent in season 8 to 12. So Thomas Theorist already did this, but I'll just do it anyway. Setting: the island of Sodor. Sodor was an imaginary island created by the Reverend W. Audrey, supposedly based upon the Isle of Man. On Sodor, trains are powered by steam. And they talk! Well, duh. It's an idealized world with a strong community. Okay, yeah. It's all kid-friendly crap, whatever. Sodor is analogous to the world a child might build around a set of train tracks. It has certain physical features such as Brandham docks. Brandham. No H, remove the H. That's better. Brandham Docks, Tidmouth Sheds, Gordon's Hill, the Viaduct, the Quarry, Thomas's Ranch, and all the stations. Okay, let's just move on to the characters. The main characters. The steam engines are like children in a playground with the Topham Hatt as the adult. Okay then, that's a weird allegory for how they work, the logic in that, but sure. Though the engines are generally the same age, there are differences in status based on small distinctions. It's clear that Gordon is older than Thomas, for instance. Let me get something clear here. Gordon was built about 5 to 7 years after Thomas, so that makes no sense, bro. For instance, though they may be only 6.5 to Thomas's 6, though Gordon, might be only 6.5 to Thomas's 6, a big difference if you're a child. Whatever their age, all the steam engines are basically good-natured and well-behaved. Diesels, however, are another matter. So this is where the diesel allegory came from. Okay, that was kind of a thing that's kind of set out by Audrey already, but you get the idea. This is where they kept doing the stupid diesel steamy rivalry. It makes so much sense. Work is essential to how the engines see themselves. Thomas loves being sent on specials. Oh yeah, Thomas, she had the special to go to the ice cream factory and pick up Mr. Bubbles the clown. Ba ba ba. Oh, technically Mr. Giggles, but you get the point. Percy loves taking the mail. Gordon's pride is strongly rooted in taking the express, etc. There is no higher honor than being told by the Fat Controller that you are a really useful engine. So that's where the term came from, really useful engine. Okay, if I say this stuff, I kind of also meant to refer to that. It became much more apparent from this Bible for around the next seasons. I know it says the Topham Hatt, but I'll just say the Fat Controller because I'm more used to saying that. Alright. Whatever the story... Okay. What's this? The lack of malice is significant. Good behavior and good intentions are always rewarded. Naughty behavior has consequences, and it is naughty, not bad. The engines may tease, but they never bully. If Gordon or James misbehaves, they are always reprimanded and they are always forgiven. The notion of redemption, not that we would ever use the word, is important. No engine ever does or say anything that's not forgiven in the end. So yeah, that's kind of a restriction. Whatever the story, lessons are learned. Humility and fairness triumphs, and everyone is friends again by bedtime. This is where the dumb sounding things come from. This is how the cringy baby show life lessons come from. Steam engines only have two natural foes: troublesome trucks, who are a nuisance to everyone. True. Wait. Keep in mind, this was written before the introduction of Hector, so, yeah. And diesels, except the good diesels. Okay, well, you mentioned that. Anyway, let's do the Steam team. I prefer calling them the Tidmouth team. So, Thomas, a cheeky, friendly, and reliable engine, is our central character. He's a tank engine because he can carry extra boiler water in tanks flanking his smoke box. Now you know. He also carries his coal in a small hopper rather than having a separate tender like most of the other engines. Okay. Okay. Thomas is our hero, our every engine kind. With a strong sense of right and wrong, Thomas is also playful, unafraid of Gordon, Henry, or any of the larger engines, and a very good friend to Percy. Okay, does this bit ever mention that Thomas is doesn't this ever mention Thomas is like cheeky? And also, this is where the repetitive formula of Thomas and Percy always being the best of friends comes from. God damn it. He has his own branch line with friends and coaches, Annie and Caramel, and is well loved by his passengers. He does shun trucks but prefers passengers. Hates smelly work, such as hauling fish, for example, and doesn't like a snowplow. Okay, at least I remember Thomas dislikes wearing a snowplow. Like most engines, he likes to keep his paint shiny and clean. So Topham sends Thomas on plenty of specials. Specials are an important part of Thomas and Friends storytelling. They are not only exciting to the engines and children to an extent, but are also useful to the production as through them we can introduce desperate elements easily. A jet engine, an opera singer, Thomas Percy and the Squeak, and Thomas and the Jet Engine, a red air balloon with limited exposure. Okay, yeah. So they mentioned like season 7 stuff, because I think when that season rolled up, there was like that hot air balloon or something. Yeah. Okay, Percy is vulnerable, suggestible, and open to teasing. Okay then. He's Thomas's best friend and equivalent to the youngest child in the playground. Also, this metaphor of Thomas and his friends being basically kids in a playground with a fat controller as the supervisor. What is with that man? Why? Like Thomas, he insecure and protective of his favorite work, taking the mail. Percy is one of the most popular of all the Thomas characters. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like Thomas, Percy can be often found traveling along a branch line than on the main line. He works the many mines and quarries around the island, and is consequently not the cleanest engine in the sheds. Does he? Okay, I think they were watching Pacific episodes of Thomas characters to get their personalities, and this only makes me think about Put Upon Percy from season 5. Oh, bloody heck, man. He's not the cleanest engine in the sheds. Dirty Percy, as he has been called. I know you're about to make some Dirty Percy jokes, but don't even try it. Although he does love being clean when he gets a chance. He's extremely useful as a foil for explaining things. If a word or idea is beyond the audience's reach, then Percy questions it, giving a reason for a simple explanation. So that's how Percy is such a dimwit and doesn't understand simple words. But again, neither do I, so who am I to judge? Percy always wants to do his best, and models the admirable quality of perseverance that is so important in this world. Okay, the last line was a bit weird. Okay, James. There's James. James is fabulously narcissistic. He's an all-purpose engine, which means he works both the main and branch lines, pulling trucks and occasionally smaller coaches. He's the same size as Edward with a coal tender at the rear, which means he can't shunt. Did you not watch season 1 fully? Because I do know as a fact that they are most capable of shunting, which is what basically brought Percy into the island of Sodor, bruh. In the playground, James comes somewhere between Thomas and Henry and Gordon. He's not vulnerable the way Percy is, but his undistinguished vanity makes him open to teasing. He lacks the status to be truly pompous because he's selfish and narcissistic. What? Okay, that's kinda true, but not. The temptation is to cast James in the baddie role, but he isn't bad. He just thinks he's special. Why else would he be the only red engine on the island? I don't think you remember Renee, Scarlowi, and Harvey existing. Also, Salty, Harvey, Scarlowi, and Reneus. Okay, technically Harvey and Scarlowi are more burgundy and Reneus is reddish orange, but still technically counts. He often says something proactive that can help to emphasize the feeling part of a story. Oh god. He's the closest thing Thomas and friends has to a rebel, capable of refusing to do things and showing off for the sake of it. James is never dull and brings colour and attitude wherever he goes. Okay, the last line seems kind of accurate. Gordon is pompous, self-satisfied, and large. He's a blue mainline engine with a coal tender identical to Henry. Is it really though? Gordon and Henry have distinguished tenders of their own. Who pulls the express and believes shunting is beneath him. Okay, that seems kind of true. He pulls the express and believes shunting is beneath him. That seems accurate. He's the fastest engine on Sodor and will jump at any chance to go faster. Which, if he did, he'd probably just spontaneously implode. Also, isn't Spencer technically the fastest engine? Who am I to question the logic of the show? As one of the oldest children in the playground, he mimics adult behavior by not simply being vain, but by believing he isn't, thinking of himself as important and responsible. He's an outstanding example of big fish, small pond. What? This makes zero sense. What? Gordon's pomposity causes problems and is a good source for stories. As with James, matters are always resolved kindly and fairly. I don't get the point of this stupid right-wing Bible. Gordon knows that Topham Hatt is his boss and, like all the other engines, endeavors to be reliable and useful, providing the job is good enough. Okay, they've been decently accurate so far, but next up is Toby, and we all know how he behaved. So this Bible basically explains how the characters behave, about the inconsistencies with the characters. You know, Henry being a hypochondriac to handle being the oldest one for some reason, Scarlet and Reneus acting like children, Toby and Edward being self-conscious, Emily getting a personality swap with Lucy from Charlie Brown. Toby is the oldest and wisest of the principal characters. Isn't Edward technically that? Toby is a branch line steam tram whose overriding feature is squareness. Both his face and body are square, and his body is wood, not metal, and he can travel forward and backwards, so he doesn't need a turntable. He's very proud of his cow catchers. He was rescued from the scrap heap by the fat intruder. He's even more vulnerable and sickly than sickly Henry. Because he's a tram, he isn't as fast or as strong as even the smaller engines. Since when on earth has Toby ever been vulnerable? As a matter of fact, where has Henry been vulnerable either? This Bible makes no sense. Toby has his own line, usually accompanied by his friend and coach, Henrietta. But he also works at the quarry with Mavis, C. Diesels. C. Diesels, to get the point, to know who Mavis is, apparently. He has strong links with the farming community he serves, and is good friends with Thomas and Percy. That penultimate line there, strong links with the farming community? Okay, then the only thing that comes to mind with that line is Toby's day afternoon off. Henry, oh god, here we go. Henry is a warrior, an engine hypochondriac who has to burn special coal. Henry was a hypochondriac in season 1, and this is 7 seasons later. How dense can you get? He's a little vain, but through insecurity, because he thinks he's the best. What? Okay. Identical to Gordon, but a livery shade of green. A lively shade of green. Henry pulls freight, not the express. Henry in the wishing tree, anyone? He's one of the bigger engines, or technically older children, but more modest and less prone to acting out than Gordon or James. He's also superstitious and is easily spooked. Okay, did I watch Cole and Haunted Henry to understand who Henry's personality is? Okay, whatever. Let's give in his own episode. It's easy to overlook Henry as he is not as visible as James, Percy, Gordon, and Thomas. But Henry is nevertheless a key member of Titmouth Shares and should not be forgotten. If only that stayed true. Big adventures. Okay, here's a big man. Edward. Edward is a frail and vulnerable engine. When has Edward been frail or vulnerable? The bigger engines viewed him as vulnerable until the last main Edward story written by Audrey, where Edward actually had a focus. Why? The same size and shape as James, but the same color blue as Gordon. Is he really the shape of James? Like, James has a very pronounced firebox shape, while Edward Edward doesn't. Edward is a mainline engine. He is a branch line engine. Read the books. It's that easy. With a coal tender at the rear. He pulls both trucks and smaller coaches and is often used as a back engine, helping push engines who needs it. Up steep hills, the help is sometimes resented. Huh? Okay, I'm not... Okay. This doesn't make sense. Edward is the second engine on the island, hence number 2. But unlike Gordon, H doesn't mean dominance. It means vulnerability. I'm laughing because of how inaccurate this is. This might just be my longest video yet. Just saying. He can be thought of as an elderly relative, mortal and afraid of being scrapped. I'm not even questioning anymore. Like Henry, Edward is not as prominent as some of the other characters, but he shouldn't be overlooked. If only Mattel actually kept true to this. If a scene is set at the sheds, the likelihood is Henry Nebula there, and where possible and appropriate, should be given a line. Okay, now here's Emily. Oh god, we know how Emily behaved. She eventually became Charlie Brown's Lucy. Emily is a little Miss Bossy Buffers who thoroughly enjoys being Emily. Okay, roughly Thomas's age, she feels slightly older than Thomas and definitely older than Percy. Is that true, bruh? Bruh, is that true? But that could just be that as a girl, she's that much more mature. Emily wouldn't stop being a nasty lass for no reason. If she were in a playground, she'd organize all the younger kids into playing her game her way. Since when was Emily ever rude? She was generally the opposite of all this. You are literally turning her into Lucy from Charlie Brown, which, by the way, I've not watched. But Emily is not a mean and yes, the bloody hell she is! Let's do some additional characters now. My brain might just implode of how stupid Emily's Bible is. Bill and Ben, okay, we got Bill and Ben, Fallapon, China Clay, twins. Bill and Ben are twins and true children, highly competitive with each other, prone to jealousy and bickering, and motivated by pranks, games, and having fun. They are the smallest mainline engines, light ochre and yellow with red buffer beams. They aren't mainline engines, bruh. They work with Edward on a branch line. I may have not watched all the episodes of Thomas, but I sure as hell know. Forget it. They don't bite down at the sheds, so are not part of those scenes. Okay, this is like the longest thing ever, so I'm gonna try and ignore a few lines. They have an outspoken dislike of diesels, except Mavis and Boko, and a reluctant admiration for Salty. Okay, they basically like the only diesels they like are the ones they don't work with. And this also kind of confirms Boko technically is canon in the Hits Entertainment season, in the Hits Entertainment era. Okay then. That's cool. Also, he ain't the only one. So, Harvey is big-hearted and relentlessly cheerful. He's also unique. He looks extraordinary with a bulbous face. His chin is literally built like Ronaldo from Big Adventures. You can look up the character, I'm not showing you. And a crane arm that can rotate 360 degrees on top of his smoke box, enabling him to load and unload trucks either in front or behind him. Mocked by James and Gordon for not looking normal when he arrived, Harvey proved himself to be really useful after cleaning up after a crash and is now a popular addition to the group. He's a mainline worker, but because of his shape, doesn't fit into Tidmouth sheds, and has to park parallel. Okay, is this kind of true, though? What do you exactly mean by he's too big for Tidmouth sheds? Is it because either it's a metaphor because he is literally too tall in size to squeeze into Tidmouth sheds, or is it a metaphor because, because of his crane arm, it makes him unique and he doesn't quite fit in with the main cast? Which sounds a bit racist. His voice booms and he loves helping others. He's happy working in the yards, the docks, and building sites. But his true home is at the Soda Waterworks? Is there such thing as a Soda Waterworks? If so, that'd be kind of cool. Donald and Douglas. Okay, Dafty's let's go! Another set of twins, but this time Scottish, medium-sized, black with separate tenders. They're used on the main line. Like Bill and Ben, they're good fun characters. Proud, hard-working, prone to bickering and competitiveness. They work better with each other than anybody else. Very codependent. I'm using my Scottish accent because I can. Because they work on the main line, they can be included on any mainline story. If you stay true to that. They are easily cited if okay, I know what, I'm stopping. Why is this bit so bloody huge? Despite their jealousy, they're loyal to each other and capable of great bravery. Oh yeah, Daphne, that's enough. Alright, Stepney. I can't help saying it. Okay, we got Stepney. Stepney is a late addition to the railway, rescued from the dreaded scrapyards. He is a yellow orca a general shunting engine, and, like Thomas, does have a separate tender. He does not bed down at the sheds, does not carry any passengers, and has no coaches. Stepney is capable of pulling passengers, I'll have you know. Have you not watched season 6 and 7? He's not a main player in the playground, but he is in school, and story-wise can be useful because he runs on the Bluebell line, which runs adjacent to the narrow gauge lines. Oh, we'll get to narrow gauge boys soon. Stepney is one of the few steam engines that can naturally come into contact with the world. And that with that world, sorry. Okay, Stepney, okay. Yeah, technically it does exist. Since I do qualify season 12 as a hits entertainment season, so yeah. Same thing with the next character, Jack. Duck is a green, medium-sized, odd-shaped engine without separate tender. He's strong and works all over the island, pulling freight and coaches. Duck is another supporting engine, kind-hearted, easygoing, sticks to the rules, etc. Who, if he is not the central engine in a story, can be a great character actor. Unlike Toby, he looks very individual. Unlike Toby, the bigger engines respect Duck because he's a Great Western. The mainline railway he originally came from. I don't get this. What? When did they Okay, the big engines kind of disrespected Toby, but not to this extent. What is this series? What are these producers smoking? Okay, Oliver and Toad. Another Great Western engine without a separate tender. Oliver's duties are similar to Duck's or Snipney's. Toad is his brake van. They were rescued from the scrapyard by Donald and Douglas. Not Donald. No. Donald didn't appear in the story. No, Donald didn't help Douglas. Douglas did it on his own. And they're frightened by the very word scrap. Sorry, I couldn't help doing it like that. Like Percy, Oliver can carry feelings of childlike insecurity. If Mum has another baby, she won't want me anymore, kind of thing. What? What on earth has Oliver ever been like this? What the actual hell? Why is Oliver and Toby being disrespected? Okay, we got Fergus. Okay. Fergus is a traction engine whose main function is to shunt trucks at the cement works. It's dusty work, and it has left him with a slight but persistent cough, which punctuates his speech. Yes, he is very smart. Physically, Fergus is blue with red wheels and a tall funnel. He has a flywheel which can be used to power tools such as a saw, drill, or pump. It's a shunting engine. He can work at the smelter's yard. Wasn't that the one thing that kind of was in one of Fergus's I don't know if Salty Stormy Tail or Fergus Brings the Rules it. If you know which one of them is Fergus's final appearance, you can tell me down below. Actually, probably you won't, because I probably won't have comments. The docks in the quarry? Well, where he'll work with engines like Bill and Ben, and Salty. He is suspicious of diesels, whom he considers newfangled. Since when was he ever suspicious of diesels? I don't get the idea what these people are. Spencer is a top-of-the-range, classy steam engine with a tender, a native for Pacific. He's metallic silver with blue details. No, he doesn't have blue details, does he? No. Privately owned by the Duke and Duchess of Boxford, I was going to say Stepney again. Spencer is a bit of a snob with a posh accent. Spencer's a snob. And like a royal train, he pulls Pullman coaches, a private dining car, etc. Faster and more powerful than even Gordon, Spencer believes timetables are for ordinary engines and should be rearranged to accommodate him. Spencer May thinks he's the fastest and most efficient engine ever, but he forgets that, like all steam engines, he can't run without water. That was in his introduction episode. Topham Hatt's engines are relieved that Spencer is only a visitor to Sodor. The Duke and Duchess are building a holiday house on the island. Okay, so that's kind of a plot line that would be used in Hero the Rails later on. There are plenty of other engines on this list, but we're going to ignore Murdoch and Arthur because they don't have that much of personality. No offense to those who like them. I like them too. Diesel-driven mainline engines. Diesel, and both Diesel and Devious Diesel. Okay, so if you want to interpret these Devious Diesel as just regular as the black Class 08 and Diesel as Diesel 10, you can do that. Diesel, the original Diesel of the series, he generally works in most areas but can often be found working in the scrapyards or smelting works. Okay, I might consider this as Diesel 10 because that is kind of true. Devious Diesel, along with Troubles and Trucks, Devious Diesel is a bad guy, voiced in a nasal fashion. He is oily, sneaky, and not to be trusted. Devious Diesel is an excellent and entertaining mainline foe and can work in any area required, but favors the scrapyards, smelting works, or docks. Okay. We have Harry and Bert. The reason I guess, is just meant to be to make his name sound more British. So we were like, alright, come on, man. So we'd be like, alright, come on, mate. Known as the yellow diesels, they are olive green and yellow in color, and the same shape as the black diesel. Oh, that totally isn't racist. They work out in the scrapyard and docks area. Like Devious Diesel, they love to scrap steam engines and grab any opportunity to play tricks on them. Steamers have to be careful around them. What is with these character betrayals? Okay. Mavis is a black with yellow chevrons around her face. And a skirt like Toby. A quarry-based diesel, originally from the Farquhar Ironworks? Okay, since when the hell has there been an ironworks on the island of Sodor that actually connects with Farquhar? And yes, that is not how you spell Farquhar, by the way. Often working with Bill and Ben, Mavis is tough. Mavis is tough, hardworking, and no nonsense. But she does have a sensitive side and is aware of how the other engines are feeling, and is concerned if someone is sad or upset, or whatever. Mavis has made a good friend in Toby and considers Boko her mentor. Mavis considers Boko her mentor? Okay, that's a random plot line, but okay. This is kind of nice though. I kind of like this vibe. She dislikes Devious Diesel, who tried to play a trick on, who tried to trick her in the past. Okay. Salty is a dockside diesel with a rust red body and a square, grubby, weather beaten face. Weather beaten face. What? He's a cheerful, lively, fun character who. Okay. Okay. I won't do all the character bios because that'll take too long. Daisy is a motorized branchline coach and engine combined. And the only she's a diesel rail car, actually. Self-centered. She doesn't like smelly engine sheds, refuses to pull trucks, and is indifferent to all the engines. She beholds her driver and engineer, and and fiercely loyal to both of them. If you're not with her, she won't move. Note: Daisy can't appear on screen with Boko as they. Okay, so they keep in mind that Boko and Daisy share the same chassis, but then again, both never appear in the hit era, unless you count Daisy's cameo in Calling All Engines. Speaking of Boko, Boko is another good diesel, the oldest of the diesels, more like an adult than a child. His name comes from his wheel arrangement. Bo refers to based on the Kobo diesels, used for all jobbing as well as pulling passengers and freight on the main line. He's a softie. He's a softie. What? Sure, he's a good man, but he isn't. He won't stand for crap like Edward. Okay, next up. Class 40. Okay, we got Class 40 here. Okay. This diesel is a large working diesel, usually used in the mainline areas, pulling freighter passengers. Is he really, though? But Class 4... Bola was never born by the fucking trailer. What are you talking about? Okay, the Paxman, aka Derek. The name derives from the engine type used to drive this large diesel. He is distinctive in that his cab is the middle of his long body. He's British race in green and colour with a black roof. Although he would normally work in yards or stations, he works in quarries of the island. Next up, it has been a long time, but finally, they are the narrow gauge engines running on narrow gauge track. This might just be my longest video yet. What the hell, it is long. Also, okay, we're back at the top to read this. The narrow gauge world is smaller in every sense of the word. The engines and rolling stock are smaller, the tracks tighter together. Okay, there are 7 narrow gauge engines. Sir Handel, Duncan, Duke, Peter Sam, Frosty, Rheneas, and Skarloey. Okay, apparently Duke also exists in the hit era. What? Okay then. That's random, but we'll ignore that. Yeah. Okay. Rusty, an orange narrow gauge. Rusty's main job is in the quarries, but she works as a track clearer and lives to keep the lines free of debris. Kind and generous, Rusty is an engine of the word picky. Okay, the reason it says it misgenders Rusty as so here's a random bit of a lesson. In the original airings of the narrow gauge episodes in the United States dub, it was confirmed that Rusty was originally going to be female to add a bit of diversity amongst the narrow gauge fleet. So this is a clip from the United States version of the episode, Tuneful Toots. And you're going to hear Rusty referred as a she.
Rusty's favorite journey was by the lake. She liked to toot her horn there. Rusty thought she had a very tuneful toot. But Rusty was most excited of all.
Okay, you get the point. Rusty was originally going to be female in the United States of the show. What? Okay, you get the point. Rheneas, also an orange narrow gauge engine. Old friends with Skarloey, Rheneas is brave, likes being narrow gauge, and although versatile, prefers passengers to freight. His and Skarloey's lines are traditionally the most beautiful on the island. Okay, technically Rheneas is reddish-orange, but you get the point. Skarloey, a red narrow-gauge steam engine and Rheneas' best friend. Skarloey is a leader, prepared to stand up and be counted. He nonetheless won't take undue risks. Reneus, Rusty, and Scarlowi are a great little trio who like each other. They're the kind of schoolyard pals who stick up for each other and share their candy without having to be asked. What? Okay, I've not watched all of season 6 to 7, but apparently in an episode, Rusty to the Rescue, we actually got confirming that Rusty was that that Pure Sam that Pure Sam didn't exist for some reason. That Duncan and Pure Sam just vanished from existence. Sahandel, older than the three pals. Sahandel is a sorry. Sahandel wasn't older than the three than the. Sahandel wasn't older than the three of them. Okay, technically maybe he might be older than Rusty, but he's not older than Renee Scarlowi. What are you talking about? Sahandel was a royal blue narrowgauge engine with a slightly superior attitude. He tends to support Duke, the oldest and wisest narrowgauge engine. Sahandel is very friendly and always gives 110%. Why? Why do you do this, man? Why? I beg of you, why? Forget it. Yep, so in other words, Sir Handel was just nice. Duncan, a light orca narrow gauge steamer who is similar in nature to James. He can be a real handful, as he's aggressive, skeptical, impatient, and full of self-importance. He contrasts strongly with Phineas, Scarlowi, and Rusty, and there is much fun to be had seeing Duncan being brought down to size or hoisted by his own petters. Okay, Duke. Orca in color, Duke is a mythic character, and the only narrowgauge engine with a separate tender. He's probably the oldest of the narrow gaugers. The narrow gaugers. The old geezer. He's been everywhere and done everything. He was once buried in his shed by a landslide and rediscovered years later. Okay, here's the second to last character I'll be doing. Pure Sam, a proud pea green engine, narrow gauge steam engine. He once lost his phone and was given a new one that he's even more proud of. Keen to work, he gets upset if things don't go his way. He's slightly impatient with weather conditions, but for all that, he's a team player and much loved. Okay, that seems kind of accurate. Okay, I won't do the human characters. Okay, this is the last bit I'm doing because there is too much to do here and this is already long enough. So let's do the drivers and firemen. The status of the drivers and all firemen have changed from that in seasons 1 to 7. Previously, the drivers had to be mentioned when describing actions or movements how the engines made. For instance, the engines could not just slow down or go faster. The violations had to be filtered through the drivers, i.e., the driver applied the brakes. But this has all changed. Now you won't need to mention drivers and firemen unless their presence as material to the story, allowing the engines a greater degree of. So apparently drivers and firemen don't matter anymore. I want to facepalm myself right into that, but I can't, so. Oh my god, this video was so bloody long!
She looked.
Shut up, Brandon, no one cares. Oh my god. Thomas was such a child. Edward was so vulnerable. Henry was so worried. Gordon was so boastful. James was very self-prideful. Percy was such an idiot. Toby was so self-conscious. Duck never did anything. Donald and Duckworth never appeared in an episode. Oliver only appeared once. No. Okay, I get the point. I'm not saying anything else. You already know how this. The Hits Entertainment seasons were a mess. That's all I'm saying. I genuinely dislike how inaccurate the Hit era was. The best one I could think about is season 8, so. Anyway, that's me for the day. I'm not doing any more. I hope you all had a good. I wish all of you a happy new year, and I shall see you next time with some customs on the way related with the minis. We got Lady's decapitated head there, and that's a handle, and Freddy's body's decapitated Freddy. So that's her handle, an unfinished Henrietta, Reneus, Peter Sam, Rusty, an unfinished Cody, Toad, and that's meant to be Duncan and Harvey. But these are customs for another day. So until then, I hope you all have a good day. I hope you all have been really useful, and I shall see you on the next video. Sorry for the inaccuracies, but whatever. Bye.